Herringbone is a basic flat stitch that leaves spaces for you to make some fun additions with other stitches or with threading as I've done here. So let me just talk about a few of the possibilities and then I'll show how to do the threading. So one thing you can do is in what I call the big part of the X, you can make running stitches. So you could do running stitches all through here. Or you could have running stitches alternating with a tie down across this little X, or even just do this tie down by itself. You can also make the tie down going vertically. You can put a French knot in the little X, or you can put a French knot inside the big part of the X. Here's a lazy daisy in the big part of the X, and here's a lazy daisy growing up here. You could have a pistol stitch. There I tried a little cross stitch. Obviously you wouldn't combine just all of these together on one row, but here's the little, it looks like a little flower growing out of a window box. That's the lazy daisy. Here I have the French knots in the top and the running stitches down here. And here's one where I have tulip stitches and then a French knot inside the tulip stitch. And these are kind of fancied up tulip stitches where I've used different colors. So now let's look at how to do the threading. So if you're doing it right-handed, you're going to be sewing right to left. And notice that I'm coming up above, kind of just right at the end, but I'm coming up above the end of the stitching because I want to be able to get a good wrap, and I've used a good wrap around this as I'm threading, and I have a tapestry needle so it doesn't catch. I'm just passing under the thread and I don't want to go through the fabric. So I go under here and then I'm coming down here. And so you can see I'm just going under facing away from me and then down through it facing toward me. And you can make this tighter or looser. If you make these herringbone stitches too big, then you're going to get something like this where it's really just too floppy for it to catch the threads. And when you get to the end of the line, you have to get the symmetry here so that it matches this. You don't want to just plunk it down there. I'm going to wrap it around this for the final time, and that just holds it in place nicely. So the same idea, left-handed, except of course you'll be going left to right. So I started just above the end of the stitch on the left side, and I'm just going under the thread away from me, and I'm going to come down again toward me. Oh, yeah, there we go. Thought I'd missed my X. This stitch is the herringbone and all of its variations. It's a really easy way to get into crazy quilting, but it's also great for a border. If you have something that you've embroidered, or even just a applique quilt that you want to do something fancy around the edge of it. And I like to use it in a little landscapes. I mean, picture if you were doing, you'd applique a house or something and you wanted to do a fence where you could have little flowers growing up out of the fence. At least that's what I see in this stitch. And certainly there's nothing to stop you from making some of those additions after you have completed the threading. And I'm showing all these in contrast colors. You can, if you just want some extra texture, you could just do this whole thing in the same color, but I think it's more fun in a contrast color.